In order for our bodies to perform to optimal levels every day, we must supply them with the required amount of fuel. And this fuel is called energy. We get these fuels from different foods: carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, minerals, water, and other foods. Now, these minerals or these foods supply our body with different amounts of energy. The measure of the amount of energy, or the unit of measurement of this energy that we supply our body with from the foods that we eat, is what we call calories. So today we want to understand what the word calories mean, what it means if you consume more calories than what your body needs, what are the consequences of consuming less calories than your body needs, and how do we gain weight, or how do we lose weight naturally using food. My name is Chimboa Richard. I welcome you to today's episode. It's a beautiful Friday. Every Friday we look at men and their health issues. We've looked at different topics. We've looked at why men do not want to visit their doctors, the reasons why men's lifespan actually is shorter compared to their women, the doctor avoidance syndrome, where men do not want to seek medical advice even when they have obvious signs. Now, if you're here and it's your first time to be on our page, I welcome you, feel at home. But if you're here and you missed last week's episode, I kindly ask you to pause here and first go back and watch that episode, because since these are series, sometimes when you miss the series before, it may become difficult for you to understand today's series. Otherwise, I welcome you to today's discussion, and let's dive in. Let's start here. What does the term calories mean? Most of you have seen different foods having measurements. Calories. This contains this amount of calories. What does the term calories mean? By definition, the unit of energy in our body is called calories, and we normally measure it in kilocalories. Now, the different foods that we eat every day, or that we consume, be it carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, certain minerals, they contain different amounts of calories that they supply to our bodies. So each time you eat anything, or each time you eat a food, you're supplying your body with a different amount of calories depending on the type of food that you're eating. Certain foods are known to supply our bodies with a large amount of calories, while other foods are known to supply little or no calories at all. The other important organ, the body, cannot function well because you're supplying your body with less calories. For example, you're fasting for longer periods of time, or the food you eat does not have enough required calories, you're starving your body, and that is undernutrition. However, if again you give your body more calories than it requires, that is overnutrition, or you're overfeeding your body. And so we are going to look at that, the problem with that. So the reason why actually today I decided to start with understanding calories and the relevancy in our body is for us to understand the beauty of feeding right and according to instructions or recommendation of nutritional expert, because there are consequences of underfeeding and also consequences of overfeeding. Different foods actually contain different amounts of calories, and I'll give you an example here. A slice of bread contains 80 to 100 calories. A cup of milk will contain close to 150 kilocalories. A small apple is going to contain about 50 kilocalories. A teaspoon of sugar is going to contain about 110 20 kilocalories. Now, that means different foods or different sources of energy to our bodies are going to supply us with different amounts of calories. So it is up to you to understand your body demands in terms of energy vis-a-vis what you're giving your body. Because the goal is to make sure we supply our body amounts that are within its requirements, not to under supply it or to over supply it. I thank you so much for watching up to this time. It's a little lengthy, but I think it's worth it. I welcome all the questions in the comment section, and I'll try to explain the things slowly in the simplest manner possible to make sure that we understand it. I believe by understanding how our body functions, uses up the different foods that we eat, consumes its energy, sustains its systems, then we shall be able to maintain its performance and keep it in the best way, in the best form possible and shape, in order for it to support us for a longer period of time. Remember, each time you realize your body is not performing to optimal level, there is a reason. Sometimes the reason is as simple as what you eat. If you're overactive, you need to supply your body with more fuel in terms of food or in terms of calories. If you're less active, you need to regulate the amount of fuel, food, energy or kilocalories that you're supplying to your body. Together we can fight chronic diseases in men. Together we can improve the lifespan of men in the world. Thank you so much. My name is Richard Chimbo again. I wish you a very good Friday. May God bless you. What is the purpose of us understanding the science or physiology of calories? Number one, it is important because it helps us to understand how our bodies gain weight. Number two, it helps us to understand how our bodies actually lose weight for people that want to slim. Number three, it helps us to understand proper nutrition because it leads us to understanding the values that our bodies need on a daily in order to sustain the required body size, but at the same time making sure that all our organs get the amount of energy they need to perform. Consider your body to be like a car. For a car to move a certain distance, you need to give it a certain amount of fuel. For example, if I'm going to drive my car from Kampala to Jinja, first of all, I'm going to ask myself how many kilometers are between Kampala and Jinja. Number two, I'm going to ask myself what is my car fuel consumption. Then I'll go to a fuel station and refill my tank according to those needs. Now, the same way, for you to understand the body, for you to know how much calories or how much energy you need to supply your body in terms of nutrition, understand your age. What's my age? Because different age categories require different amounts. An old person of 80 years cannot consume the same food with a 14-year-old youth who is running up and down, who is ever busy and active. Number two, you need to understand your weight. Because when you understand your weight, you're going to ask yourself, do I want to maintain this weight? Do I want to lose weight? Or do I want to add on weight? Now, I've met so many people that are complaining that they are not adding weight, but they are eating a lot. Yes, you could be eating a lot, but you're eating foods that have less calories. We are going to look at that. Number three, your activity. How active are you? If you're a person that works from one place, that sits on one chair the whole day, you leave work and then you're driving to your home, you reach home and then you're watching TV, from TV you go to sleep, your body is inactive. It means you have less energy to burn down calories. Your energy levels cannot be the same as a footballer who is ever running up and down on the pitch, doing training, you burning down a lot of calories. So 3 things are going to determine your body needs for calories or energy. Number 1, your age. Number 2, your activity. Number 3, your current weight. What are sources of this fuel to our body or energy that we measure in the units of calories? All foods and beverage we consume have a certain amount of calories, normally measured in kilocalories. For example, this is a product, and on this product, if you read, they are going to tell you there is 0 calories. That means when you take this, because the different restrictions, now most of the companies that are making us beverage are using a science that some of them don't have any calories. So when you take this one, it is 0 sugar, so there are no sugars, but at the same time there is 0 calories. If you take this milk, still they are going to give you nutritional values. They are going to tell you how many calories are here in this bottle. If I eat this sweet, it has words here. They are going to tell me how many calories are there. If I eat, this is table sugar, they are going to tell me how many calories are there. This is a biscuit. They are going to tell me how many calories are there. Now, it is up to you to gauge how many of these, if I took all these in a day, what's the total amount of calories that I'm going to supply to my body. Now, if this give me, for example, 900 in total, I'm just giving an example, what is the balance that I need to maintain to supply my body with the minimum that is required for that day? And then you ask yourself, what more foods do I need to eat in order to make sure I've supplied my body with the required needs? So it goes back. Understand your requirements versus what you're eating to know if you're supplying actually the energy that your body needs to make sure it performs at optimal levels. Some men are having difficulty in your beds with how women complaining you're not performing enough or you're not performing well. Sometimes the reason is that you're not supplying your body with the required amounts of calories, and yet you're going for that, bedroom activity that requires a lot of calories to perform. So when you reach there, you feel fatigued, you feel lazy, you feel weak, and then you start to think of all the reasons apart from nutrition. Some of you are eating foods or taking drinks or beverages that don't have any calories at all. So what the body does, it keeps the little calories that you have in your body to the most important parts of your body, say the brains, maybe the kidney, and then maybe your other organs are left with no calories to use, or no calories to supply the cells in there with the required energy for them to perform their needed function. After understanding the definition, the importance of knowing this definition and the different sources of energy or calories in our body, we need also to understand the required amounts per day. For example, I gave you an example and I said, if you're moving from Kampala to Jinja, you need to understand how much fuel you need. Now, the same way, for our body to work from morning up to evening, we need to understand how much fuel in terms of energy do we need to supply it with. And remember, the surplus is going to be through what we eat. I said every food you eat in a day contains a certain amount of calories, Some of them are very minute, very little, that sometimes they say 0, but literally they should be at least 1 kilocalorie in every food that you eat. So on average, an adult woman requires about 1,200 to 1,800 kilocalories, and an adult man on average will require about 1,500 to 2,000 kilocalories. Now, it is not a single figure, instead it is a range, because our activity, age, and weight is not the same. So someone that is less active, someone that is elderly, would require calories to the lowest value or lowest limit. And then someone that is active, someone is still young, will have a bigger range, ranging from the minimum to almost the maximum of 2,000. And generally, men require more calories or more energy supply compared to women, sometimes due to the nature of work that many men do on a daily. So, what happens if you consume more than what you eat? For example, we've understood that for you to perform well, you need to, for a man, you need to have between 1,500 to 2,000. But what happens if you consume more than 2,000? Now, what happens if you consume more than that? Your body converts all the excess calories supplied to it into fat. At first, this fat is stored in the liver in so many forms, and then the balance of it is actually converted into fats, and these fats are stored in different parts of your body. Some in the blood vessels, some in under the skin in different areas. That's where you start to accumulate a lot of fats in certain areas, like around your abdomen, on your butt, in your neck, in your cheeks, and some other parts of your body. So that's how we gain weight. So each time you see your weight increasing, or you look at yourself and you see you're accumulating excess fat in areas that are visible, it means that on a daily you're supplying your body with more calories than it actually requires. You're supplying your body beyond its requirements. Just like you go to fuel up a car, or you go to a gasoline station and you start to refill your tank with petrol or gasoline or diesel. If it reaches its maximum, it is going to start to pour down the rest. Now, with our bodies, if you supply them with more calories than they require, they convert the rest into fats. So, body weight loss is actually simple if you understand the mechanism of calorie production and use. It simply means you just need to supply your body with the requirements it needs. But also, what happens if you supply our body with less calories? Now, when you supply your body with less calories, first of all, if you had an excess fat somewhere where the body initially had stored excess calories supplied to it in terms of fat, now the body is going to be, first of all, convinced or forced to use that reserve that was stored somewhere. It's going to get those fats, convert them again back into glucose, and then is able to use it. But if those sources are depleted, then your body is going to have lower levels than the minimum that is required for its optimal performance. So what happens? Number one, your body is now going to be in a state of undernutrition, because you're not supplying it with the required amounts of nutrients or the required amounts of calories to perform its levels. Number two, because this energy is used to perform different functions, the body is going to start shutting down or reducing the capacity by which it performs those functions. Metabolism and different body processes are going to stop. For example, if one was able to walk maybe for 10 miles, now because the muscles do not have the energy to use or the fuel to use to facilitate the movement, someone is now going to feel fatigued and they don't want to walk anymore. This happens a lot when we fall sick and we are in hospital. We don't want to eat. We don't want to have anything. We don't have appetite to eat, and our bodies are supplied with less calories than their requirements. By the time you want to stand or to go to the washroom or whatever, you're almost falling down. Why? Because your muscles are not supplied with the adequate calories that they require to perform the movement. Number two, your brain is going to be affected. Why? Because the brain is the biggest consumer of the energy or the calories that we eat on a day, because it is continuously performing different functions. As I'm talking, the brain is coordinating my eyes, that I look in the screen, my ears, my mouth to speak, my hands to demonstrate, downwards I'm swinging my legs. The brain is doing a lot of things at the same time. So it consumes a lot of these calories in terms of energy for its brain cells to function well. Now, each time your body is having low supply of these calories, the brain actually is affected the most. And when there is actually no, like as the levels in your body reduce, certain organs now are depleted of this little calories present, and majority of it now goes to important organs like the heart and the brain, because the brain also has to instruct your heart to continue pumping. And sometimes if actually levels continue to reduce, this is now where we have people collapsing, because the brain can no longer sustain you to stand up. You're now collapsing. And it does this to protect, to make sure it shuts down certain systems, such that the little calories in your body or in your system is now used to maintain the brain function. Lastly, now weight loss comes in, because now we use up all the other stores that are elsewhere to make sure we sustain the most vital organs of the body. So now someone loses weight. Now, how does understanding that help us in terms of weight loss or weight gain? So, as we conclude, if you want to lose weight naturally, number one, you need to go and consult your nutrition expert or nutritionist, and then they will tell you approximately the bracket where you fall, and then you will understand your nutritional needs in terms of calories or kilocalories. Then you need to eat foods that will give you a total amount of calorie in a day that fall in that range. For example, if you're going to eat posho, you need to know how much posho you're going to eat to give you maybe, if you eat posho, because carbohydrates are going to give you a lot of calories, you eat posho, it gives you about maybe 700. You eat meat, it gives you maybe about 500. You take a cup of coffee, it gives you. So you need to add up those and see approximately how. Of course, you cannot be exact, but you can approximate tell, depending. Because if you Google or read, they are going to tell you that maybe a quarter of beef, of this type of for example, beef or pork, will contain approximately this amount of kilocalories. So if you keep dividing that a quarter of beef, then you can approximate on that each of these equal pieces contain these amounts of kilocalories. And then you can say, okay, if I have this piece of meat and I add on a quarter or half or maybe 120 grams of rice, and then I take 1 cup of juice, approximately I would have consumed maybe 900 kilocalories. Okay, so if I have that for lunch, and then I have the same for breakfast, that is 1,800, that means I'm left with about 200 kilocalories to make what is required. Now, if you approximately take that, then there is no way you're going to gain weight, because you're supplying your body with what it needs to use. So if you want to gain weight, you just need to supply your body with excess kilocalories than it requires. For example, if you're so small and you want to add on some weight, and maybe your body needs 1,500 kilocalories, you can supply your body with maybe 2,000 kilocalories or 2,500, and then you're going to be able to put on weight. If the opposite is true, that you want to lose weight, and then you go and a nutritionist tell you that maybe your body requirement is 2,000 kilocalories, then you can supply your body with kilocalories that are less than that by about 500. For example, if you need 2,000, you can supply your body with 1,500. Now, when your body realizes there is no kilocalories anymore, it is now going to go on the stores or on the fat depots and starts to convert them back into calories for it to survive. And then you're going to lose weight. Now, you need to do all this in consultation with your nutritionist, because first of all, you must establish your body needs in terms of energy levels or in terms of kilocalories. Otherwise, if you use this information wrongly, and again, disclaimer, do not use this information without consulting a nutritionist that will take other different examinations about your body before going in for any program. Because if you wrongly use this information and you starve yourself, there are consequences that are going to come with that. However, if also use this information and you overfeed yourself, oversupply your body with calories, again, you may develop obesity and its related complications, like we discussed in the previous videos. In conclusion, different people require different energy supply. We get this supply through the food we eat. Some foods have more calories than others. So I would recommend that you eat food that have less calories but more nutritional benefit. Foods like fruits, vegetables, whole grain, lean protein, aquatic protein sources, because these have less calories but more nutritional content. Because you can eat a quarter of portion and it's going to give you like 1,000 plus kilocalories, and another person eats the same quantity, quarter of aquatic foods, and for them they get only maybe 500 kilocalories. So this person has more room to eat more food, but still remain within the nutritional, within the calorie requirements of his body for a day. But for us, while for you're going to eat just a little, maybe a little sauce, but that little piece contains a lot of kilocalories. So within no minute, you've already exceeded your required levels, like fast foods, a lot of those deep fried foods, street foods. Most of them actually are made. The more we understand these things and how our body functions in the simplest term, the more we are going to fight against diseases that are related to nutrition. I told you, men, that 3 things that we need to work on if we are to live longer. Number 1 is our nutrition. Number 2 is our water. Number 3 is our sleeping patterns. Number 4 is exercise. Once we handle those 4, we are going to live for as long as we want to, until God calls us back home. I thank you so much for watching up to this time. It's a little lengthy, but I think it's worth it. I welcome all the questions in the comment section, and I'll try to explain the things slowly in the simplest manner possible to make sure that we understand it. I believe by understanding how our body functions, uses up the different foods that we eat, consumes its energy, sustains its systems, then we shall be able to maintain its performance and keep it in the best way, in the best form possible and shape, in order for it to support us for a longer period of time. Remember, each time you realize your body is not performing to optimal level, there is a reason. Sometimes the reason is as simple as what you eat. If you're overactive, you need to supply your body with more fuel in terms of food or in terms of calories. If you're less active, you need to regulate the amount of fuel, food, energy, or kilocalories that you're supplying to your body. Together we can fight chronic diseases in men. Together we can improve the lifespan of men in the world. Thank you so much. My name is Richard Chimbo again. I wish you a very good Friday. May God bless you.